Everything what is known is second hand, because when you were born, you never came with a book or any knowledge, and whatever people told you, you believed, and they became your belief, and that became the knowledge that you are functioning from. It is not investigated, not questioned, not original. It is like if this fan here at the top cannot produce light because it is designed that way. It is designed in the factory to blow air, and that's what it does. That is how the mind is designed. But that which is beyond the mind, no one can design it, and it does not know about itself. And once it knows about itself, the misunderstanding clears. For centuries, human beings have searched for God, for truth, for peace, for wisdom, for love, for harmony. Name changes, method changes, culture changes, but the movement is the same. How do I become peaceful? How do I know God? How do I live rightly? How do I be spiritual? And so instructions are followed, practices are tried, beliefs are adopted, identities are worn. Now pause for a moment. If everything that has been taught about peace, God, love, or wisdom has actually worked, life would be simple by now. No problems, no issues. Fear would be gone, conflict would be rare, death would not terrify, yet here you are. Same anxiety, same insecurity, same confusion, just dressed in a better language. So let's begin honestly. If what has been learnt has not made life fundamentally free, then something essential has been misunderstood. Not because the search was wrong, but because what was sought was already distorted before the search even began. Now, forget what you think you know, just for a moment. Forget what you think God is, forget what you think peace is, forget what you think love is, forget what you think spirituality means, not as rejection, as suspension. Because if peace were something you already understood, it would not disappear under pressure. If love were known, it would not collapse into fear or attachment. If God were known, there would be no confusion left to resolve. So whatever is currently known, whatever ideas are held, are not the thing itself. They are descriptions, borrowed meanings, inherited conclusions, and borrowed truth cannot free anyone. Now look at how knowledge is formed. Consider something very simple. Do you remember being born? Do you have any memory when you were born? Not stories, not photographs, not dates, actually memory. No one does. Yet birthdays are celebrated every year. Why? Because you were told. Because a calendar says so. Because repetition turned information into identity. A 1-year child or 6-month-old does not know birthday. You can put a cake in front of it, it just wants to eat, but no idea about that it is about that child. At same point, the idea I was born on this date became me. But the knowledge was never lived, it was learned, picked up. And this is how most of what is called truth enters life. Not through investigation, but through agreement. Apply this honestly. Now apply the same clarity to bigger ideas: God, soul, love, peace, self. Were these discovered directly or explained, named, repeated, and accepted? If peace must be remembered, practiced, protected, or restored, then it is not peace. If love must be defended or proven, then it is not love. If God must be believed, then God is already reduced to an idea. What is real does not need belief. What is real does not need maintenance. What is real does not disappear when attention wavers. Look at a photograph. Take a photograph of yourself. You point and say, "That is me." But notice something quietly. Who is looking at the photo? Are you the photo in that moment or the one who is looking at the photo? Is the one in the image the same as the one observing the image? The body in the picture is an object, the observer is not. The image ages, the observer does not. Yet the mind collapses them into one and calls that collapse me. This single confusion, mistaking the observed for the observer, is the root of fear. The body was born, the body will age, the body will die, that is undeniable. But the fear of death does not belong to the body. The body does not fear. If you sleeping or unconscious, body does not fear about death or anything. When a doctor is doing your surgery, you are not afraid because that body is not afraid. Something is missing who is mistaking itself to be the body. Fear belongs to the story that says, "I am this." A story stitched from memory, from names, from roles, from beliefs. And stories cannot survive reality. So they defend themselves through belief, through religion, through achievement, through attachment. Not because they are evil, but because they are fragile. What peace was never meant to be. Peace is not an experience. Experiences come and go. Peace is not calm. Calm disappears. Peace is not silence. Silence breaks. Peace is not harmony. Harmony fluctuates. So whatever peace is, it cannot be something that arrives and leaves. Which means if peace ever left you, it was never peace. It was a state. Now notice this. Thought appears, sensation appears, emotion appears, the world appears. All of it changes. Yet something does not change. Not as belief, not as an idea, not as a concept, but as the simple fact that everything is noticed. That which notices does not age with the body, does not suffer with thought, does not disappear when ideas collapse. It was present before belief. It remains after belief. It is present even when belief is confused. It does not belong to religion. It does not belong to science. It does not belong to anyone. And because it cannot be owned, it has been ignored. Why this was missed? Because attention was trained outward, toward objects, toward achievement, towards identities, towards answers. From the very beginning, the child is handed toys because it needs your attention, and the toys are where attention gets busy, and that's how it starts. The inward was never missing, just overshadowed. Not hidden, not secret, not mystical, simply unclaimed. Nothing new is being given. This is not new knowledge, nothing is being added, no teaching is being delivered, no system is being offered. What falls away is the belief that something was missing, and when that belief ends, seeking ends. Not because an answer was found, but because the questioner dissolves. And there is nothing left to define what those words were ever meant to mean. When existence is imagined to be attached to a tree, then the tree can be cut. But when existence is believed to be inside a body, the body can be lost. But when it is seen clearly and without belief, that existence is not located anywhere, not contained by any form, not divided into parts, but is the totality in which all forms appear, then nothing is born and nothing dies. And where nothing is born, nothing can be lost, and nothing remains to be feared or afraid. So whatever you know is not yours. You have picked up, and you are seeing this world through that knowledge, including the knowledge of yourself, your birthdays, your attachment to this body. Every year, what you attach to is getting less. So see it clearly, who you really are. And that which cannot be defined is not missing, just lost. It is like you can see, but imagine there is a lot of dust that is just picked up, and you are seeing everything through that dust. And when you leave everything behind, don't touch anything that you know, the clarity is already there, not missing. And that clarity has no owner, because that ownership is part of that dust picked up idea. When you see it, you see it. And this game is over, and you will realize nothing has ever started. Just imaginations. That's all.